So while the green light, red light game is still going on and investors are moving ahead cautiously, and looks like we might get a Santa rally after all, which is all good and amazing for our portfolios. But in all of this, let's not forget what last few weeks told us. To be honest, what happened or the kind of rotation that took place is what made me decide on what to buy in the most recent dip. And I've shared all my buys in my last video, so do check it out if you haven't, which I will link towards the end of this video. So I read an amazing article on Wall Street Journal yesterday, and that made me think more deeply about what we can expect in 2022. Especially if you just started investing or if you have lots of money invested in the market, then this video is going to help you take a good hard look on the choices you have made in your portfolio. And now, as a gentle reminder, please consider subscribing if you like content like this and give it a thumbs up so we can reach out to more investors. So let me start this video by going over this amazing Wall Street Journal article, and not very often do I read articles like this that kind of lay out the picture perfectly. And no, I'm not going to read the entire article, but I would like to point out few things. So let's begin. So the article, or the topic of the article, was market flashes warning as few stocks fuel gains. And one of the biggest thing that I saw in the article was they were mentioning name of companies, which is very rare because they kind of talk about the sector when they're talking about market as a whole. And that's why this article was really interesting for me. Okay, so I'll start here. The stock market rise this year has narrowed around a short list of big tech companies, a sign of possible weakness heading into 2022. Now, the 5 of the biggest stocks in S&P 500 account for more than half of the broad benchmark gain since April. Again, they're saying that Microsoft, Nvidia, Apple, Alphabet, and Tesla are responsible around a third of the whole S&P. This is big, this is massive. Now I'm going to jump on to this right here. If those companies, for whatever reason, stop performing, there is nothing to support the market. This is again very, I would say, dangerous, but very interesting point. Then the second page of the article, this is really interesting here. Expectations that stock prices will fall over the next 6 months jumped to 42%. Earlier this month, the most bearish reading in more than a year, according to a weekly sentiment survey conducted by American Association of Individual Investors. So basically, more and more investors are now thinking that next 6 months market is going to be soft. Again, hint, hint, if you have options, be careful, because that's what gets killed first. Okay, next, unprofitable growth stocks, the darlings of 2020's rally, have already been hit hard. Again, we all know that what happened. Who has identified more than 300 unprofitable companies that have fallen more than 50% from the recent highs. Again, very dangerous from momentum-based stock, and I have more data to share with you guys in just 1 second. Okay, then over here, another interesting point. So much of the value in such few companies. So Nvidia, Microsoft, Tesla, Google, these are the companies that they're talking about. So much value in such few companies. And again, this is a kind of weakness for the market because they are relying so much on these companies. Some economic indicators suggest that stocks are in a position to move higher. Again, contradicting what they said, that individual investors are thinking that the stock is going to go down in the next 6 months. But over here, they're saying some economic indicators suggest stocks are in a position to move higher. Corporate earnings and profit margins have surpassed expectations, while nominal and real interest rates are expected to rise but remain low, giving stock some support, Goldman Sachs analysts said. So again, the condition or the economic conditions are in favor for a rally of stock market, but because everything is consolidated among these top 5 companies, that's what's making individual investors feel that the next 6 months is going to be, of course, tough for the market. Then again over here, FactSet on Friday said the number of companies issuing negative earning guidance for the 4th quarter outpaced upward revisions for the first time since the 2nd quarter of last year. Very important point. Pay attention to this. I'm going to discuss in just 1 second. Earnings have the potential to worsen as more companies grapple with inflation and supply chain blockages. Again, we all know what's going on with the supply chain blockages over here. During periods where both the producer price index and consumer price index are positive and former exceeds the latter by more than 3%, he said the company operating margins tend to suffer in the coming quarters. This was again a very interesting point. Now over here, if you see, this is an index where basically people are fearing bearish, neutral, or bullish. And I'll like to point out over here, I'm going to enlarge it. Okay, so notice what's going on here. So in the beginning or towards the end of 2020, right here, we can see September of 2020. So this is September, October, November, December, and then this is 21. We were feeling really bullish about November and December of last year when everything was going to the moon. And then as soon as we hit 2021 and everything rocketed, or the price rocketed, we started to feel a little bullish. And then we had that rally again in March and April, and then we had that crash in May, and since then we have been on a downtrend in the bullish sentiment, and I have even showed in my previous videos how money started to move after March and April out of some of the sectors. So right now, if you see, the rally or the level of bullishness is the same as we had in September. So people have started to kind of feel bullish, but of course we are late towards the year. This is already December, and we don't have the rally or the bullish sentiment that we had last year in December this year. See, last year in November, December, we were right here. Almost 60% of the people were feeling bullish, and this year, not even 20% right here are feeling bullish. So sentiment or individuals, investor sentiment have changed. Right here, American Association of Individual Investors this is what the sentiment is right now, where less people are feeling bullish, a lot of people are feeling neutral, but more and more people are feeling bearish right here, as you can see the chart. So this is really interesting on what's going on, or the shift that's going on. Now, these are some exciting and at the same time some scary details. If your portfolio has been names like Microsoft, Nvidia, Apple, Tesla, and Google, then you must be feeling good. But we are in alpha and we were born to hunt. So how can we be satisfied with just these boring stocks? We need anxiety, we need excitement, and we need the rush. So of course we have to go and buy AMCs, GMEs of the world. And let's not wait there, let's not stop there, and let's top it off with some Bitcoin, Ethereum, ADA, Solana, because why not? Well, then let's get ready for some excitement for next year, because even though this article has some compelling data and some amazing information, I have more for you. So let's take a look at this pic right here. So let's take a look at this. This is October of 2021, and I have highlighted some of the momentum plays, some growth and value. And I want to show you where the money is going. So if you can see over here, in October of 2021, we still had people putting money in the momentum stock. Momentum stocks is they don't have real revenues, they don't have real profits, they are basically driven by momentum. And if you can see over here in October, we have about 362 million that went into the momentum stock. Since then, since October, in November and December, people started to take money out of momentum stocks. Look, negative 310 million. Basically, people are taking money out of it, and then negative 860 million that went out in December, and we are still in December, so this data will update. If you pay attention to the growth stocks over here, look at growth, what's going on here. Growth stocks in October of 2021, we had about $2.3 billion that comes into the growth stock, or that came into the growth stock. In November of 2021, we had about $3 billion come into growth stock. Then in December, which we are still going on, as I said, we had almost about 5 billion come into growth stock. So this is really exciting to see that people are putting more and more money in growth stocks, stocks that has real earnings, stock has real product and services, and have real profits. They are profitable companies. So going into 2022, I think the market will be singing this tune. And we just saw in the article that the Q4 guidance is going to be bad for some companies. And that is not good for the market, because again, market is not just these 5 companies, but again, these 5 companies control almost a third of S&P's movement, which is huge, which is massive. So this is very interesting shift of what's going on here. Now, 2021 has been an amazing year for sure. We have seen a $5 stock touch 50 and a $50 stock touch 5 within few days and right in front of us. We are definitely entering a shift, and from what I'm reading, the shift is driven more for growth and value and less for momentum and YOLO. I have bought this dip keeping these factors in mind, and I have rebalanced my portfolio keeping these factors in mind. All 4 or 5 companies mentioned, Tesla, Apple, Nvidia, Microsoft, Google, have one thing in common. They all have product and services that has demand and people want. That's exactly what I have said, that 2022 will be the year when companies will have real revenue and profit and will be rewarded. So invest wisely, and I'm not a financial advisor and this is not an advice, I'm just sharing what I'm seeing in the market. Hope I provided some value, and if you like the video, then consider subscribing and give this video a thumbs up. And if you like to chat more about these topics, then consider joining our Discord and Patreon. Links are in the description below. As always, an absolute pleasure to share all of this with you. Until next time, you all have a sparkling day.